Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out. This is episode 179. I just spent the week attending the annual Consumer Electronics Show, or CES, virtually. Yep. I'd usually be in Vegas right now, or at least coming home now, roaming 3.5 million square feet of showroom floor space at the Las Vegas Convention Center and surrounding facilities to see what tech will be coming out in the future. But for the first time in the show's 54-year history, it was online only this past week. They called it an all-digital CES. Hey, it was still cool to see these innovative products in action, of course, but a little weird attending the show from my home office, if you know what I mean. Anyhow, much of today's show will be about CES, with a few standouts from some top industry experts, and I'll share some of my picks, too, on what I was impressed with. And we'll start the show with a fun look back at the best and worst tech of 2020. Before we look ahead, we'll look back, including a couple of tech turkeys that I'll call out. All of this and more on an all-new Tech It Out, powered by ASUS, which I'll tell you more about shortly, but let's officially start the show. While most of the interviews during this week's show is geared to the future, looking forward to what we could expect in 2021 when it comes to cool technology and apps and all that, I did want to take a couple of minutes to look back on 2020. It wasn't all horrible, believe it or not. So I thought I'd look at some of the tech highlights, if you will, as well as a few tech turkeys, some of the worst of the year when it comes to tech. But let's start off with what was good in 2020. I would argue the most significant piece of technology would be Zoom. Zooming became actually a verb, but the product Zoom, while not new, became a household name because of the pandemic. It was a way to keep in touch with those who matter in a very simple way. They did have a few privacy and security challenges off the top. If you remember, Zoom bombing was a thing, but to the company's credit, they quickly turned things around and beefed up their security without making it cumbersome to get going. So video calling, and specifically Zoom, really was a standout for me in 2020, and I'm sure for many of you as well. Again, it became a verb. Like even if you were going to use Skype or Google Duo or Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or FaceTime, we would say, hey, I'll Zoom you later, or let's have a Zoom call tomorrow. So both personally and professionally, I think Zoom was the standout tech of 2020, in my opinion, because it helped us stay connected. It helped us stay productive, despite the fact that many of us were isolating at home, quarantining, and even with school, right? Even with classes, even though there's other platforms, Zoom was also a way that kids could stay educated and a way for teachers to connect with students as well. So Zoom was probably my best tech of 2020. Other than that, I would argue smart home tech. Again, as a byproduct of the pandemic, we spent a lot more time at home, and smart home tech is both affordable and easy to use and adds convenience and maybe some money saving as well to your, monthly utility bills and so on. So I think smart home tech was also a highlight in 2020. Everything from video doorbells, so you can keep an eye on your packages. We were online shopping a lot more last year, let's face it. So things like the Ring video doorbell or the Nest Cam, as well as indoor cameras, giving you peace of mind, pet cams and all that, even though we were mostly at home with our pets. Other technologies like Wi-Fi thermostats that could help regulate your temperature and save you money on your bills. Those were very popular last year. Smart lighting, which is also very convenient, and smart speakers tied to all of this. So just using your voice, the most natural interface, if you will, to use your voice in order to turn off or turn on the lights, set timers and schedules and all that. And again, you can get smart speakers for as low as $25 to $30 for the Google Nest Mini or the Amazon Echo Dot. So not breaking the bank. And also, as we talked about during this show, cleanliness and like sanitization and all that was very top of mind. So hands-free smart speakers were also great. We also streamed a lot of content. So the third biggest piece of tech, I think, in 2020 2020 were these streaming services, everything from Netflix to Amazon Prime Video to Disney Plus and Apple TV Plus and Crave. So those are sort of the big ones. These are streaming services that offer a ton of content, TV shows and movies, and with platforms like Roku, even more than that, news and sports and documentaries and all that. But definitely streaming services, that was a highlight in 2020. We were cooped up at home and we wanted to stay entertained for sure. And then the fourth and final sort of best of 2020 tech would be video games like Among Us, which is free on phones and tablets and as low as $5 for computers. But Among Us became this mainstream hit. It actually debuted in 2018, this little cartoon sort of detective game, but it really blew up in 2020 as a way to stay connected and entertained with your friends who might not be in the same room with you. So Among Us is a really fun game if you haven't played it, where the main map is you're on a spaceship and it's usually like 3 to 10 players and you're tasked with doing these different little puzzles and challenges on the spaceship, right? So you're connecting wires and matching lights and things like that. So you're running around this cute little cartoon character that you can customize and do these little tasks, but on board is an imposter and they are meant to sabotage your work and they can kill crewmates. And you have to deduce with the rest of the crewmates who the imposter or imposters were. So it's really a fun game. You don't need to be a hardcore gamer to play. Even my daughter Maya, who doesn't play video games like my sons do, but was all over Among Us and had so much fun playing with her girlfriends and others over the internet. So I really like that game. And it wasn't just kids, but also kids at heart. Folks like my age were playing Among Us as well. So really fun. So those are some of the tech highlights of 2020. Zoom, smart home tech, games like Among Us, and streaming video services. Let's now get to the tech turkeys. Speaking of video streaming services, they weren't all successes. In fact, one big one debuted, making a huge splash, but petered out pretty quickly and went bankrupt at the end of the year. I'm talking about Quibi. That's Q-U-I-B-I. It was started by former Disney exec Jeffrey Katzenberg, who you might also know from DreamWorks, as well as former eBay CEO Meg Whitman. So 2 billionaires raised also that kind of money to launch Quibi, which is a short form video service and mobile centric. So you're supposed to watch on your phone, vertically aligned and all that. But they were asking you to pay as much as $8 a month for these videos that really weren't that great. I mean, a lot of the shows, a lot of people didn't like the content, or it could be found elsewhere in some cases. Not to mention YouTube has billions of videos and a lot of it is free. So it was hard to justify paying $8 a month for the ad-free version or $5 a month or $60 a year for the regular version. So that fizzled out pretty quickly. So that was a lot of hype, not great content, and then ultimately they went bankrupt. So I hope nobody lost any money there. So that was a tech turkey of 2020. Also, Facebook and other social platforms. You know, I do use Facebook, full transparency, and I like social media, of course, both personally and professionally, but it was a year of misinformation, right? On social platforms like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram to a lesser extent, but tied to COVID or politics. Yet Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook initially said he doesn't think Facebook should be the quote unquote arbiter of truth on that platform, which I would strongly disagree with. They have a responsibility for disseminating falsehoods. But by the end of the year, they did an about face and they put warning labels on 180 plus million misinformed posts, and even going so far in 2021 to ban the president of the United States, which was unprecedented. But politics aside, I think when it comes to facts, they did the right thing here. They definitely had a rough year when many of us relied on social media for news and information and keeping in touch. So I was disappointed with Facebook and Twitter, even though Twitter seemed to get it a little bit faster than Facebook. And speaking of Facebook, you know, they also own Instagram, right? And WhatsApp. And they tried to copy Snapchat's stories in 2020 with something called Reels, Instagram Reels, which was a bit of a dud as well. And then finally, the last tech turkey of 2020 would be scammers and robocalls. I mean, we were inundated with phony texts and emails and even phone calls promising this and that, trying to scam us, steal our personal information. We would even get social media posts from imposters that look like it's from your friends, but they're not. So it was just a year where the bad guys out there in cyberspace, and there are many, tried to take advantage of things like COVID, offering free masks and hand sanitizer or getting in line early for vaccines, anything to dupe you. And they targeted seniors and others who may not be as tech savvy. And that was very frustrating for me to see. And I heard from my readers every day about these scams, with many people falling for them. So another downside to 2020. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed that quick look back at the best and worst tech of 2020. But let's hope 2021 has more positives than negatives across the board, not just in tech. So stay tuned to this show, as I'll always bring you the latest and greatest. In fact, a lot of today's show includes some of the 2021 tech you can look forward to, and then with some other products that debuted this past week at the Consumer Electronics Show. They're a few years away, like Samsung's robot and LG's transparent TV and Cadillac's flying taxi. Those, of course, are not coming out anytime soon, but we will chat this hour with Mario Armstrong and Carly Knobloch, a couple of tech experts, on their picks from the show. I'll share some of mine as well, and I'd love to hear from you. If you're on social media, hit me up. I'm at Mark Saltzman, Mark with a C, Saltzman with a Z. And I'm on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Tell me what you are most excited about or what tech you can't live without in 2021. Because many of us are still on lockdown, I would assume it's a computer, so you can work from home or school from home and also watch videos and all that. It's a very versatile device, of course. And that brings me to my sponsor, ASUS. Thank you for your support on Tech It Out in 2020 and now going into 2021. ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life, including its line of award-winning laptops and desktops. They make some fantastic computers with several different lines. They have ZenBooks, they have VivoBooks, Chromebooks, and ExpertBooks for the business class. That's at asus.com/US/radio for more info on their computers, as well as other devices like smartphones, smartwatches, tablets, and more. Again, asus.com/US/radio. ASUS for those in search of incredible. We'll be back with more Tech It Out.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out. Tens of thousands of people in the consumer electronics space would normally be heading to Las Vegas for the Consumer Electronics Show last week, or the CES. But because of COVID, this year's show was held online only, an all-digital CES. But technology has not stood still, as you'll soon hear with tech lifestyle expert Carly Knobloch, who's joining us to look at some of the tech making a buzz for 2021 and beyond. Hey, Carly, good to chat with you.
Hey, Mark, it's always great to talk to you. Yeah, it's so weird not to be in Vegas. I never thought I'd say that I missed Las Vegas, but it's all virtual CES this year, but I partnered with some great brands that are making news, so I'm excited to share them with you.
Yeah, first time in 54 years that the show is not taking place in Las Vegas, so a little strange, but nonetheless, there's some really cool tech, and I know you're going to share some with us right now, so why don't we just jump right into it. What is new in the smart home category? We're spending a lot more time at home, so no doubt this is a popular category.
Absolutely, and I've got two products for you. First, a total multitasker for your kitchen, which is super exciting. It's the LG InstaView range with Air Sous Vide. Okay, lots of features to talk about here. Number one, if you don't know what sous vide is, it's taking the cooking world by storm. It's a cooking technique that basically ensures you have consistent temperature so that your meat and your fish are always juicy, they're never overcooked. But instead of placing a vacuum-sealed bag in water, which is a whole thing that can be a little bit cumbersome, this LG range lets you just place the vacuum-sealed bag on the oven rack. So it's much easier. And then air fry is also built in, so you can make healthy versions of things like wings or French fries. And then another really cool feature is the InstaView window. It's that great thing that they have also in their refrigerator. But in this case, it lets you check on dinner without opening the oven door, which is great, so you can maintain the oven temperature and not have it dip. And then you just give the little oven door a knock, 2 knocks, and then it lights up so you can see what's inside. So that's the first thing. And then another great product for smart home, the MyQ Pet Portal. This won a CES Best of Innovation Award this year. It's definitely a smart home upgrade for both dogs and their owners. It's an entirely new door. It's an exterior door. You replace your door with this one that has a hidden smart panel built inside, and then you can open that smart panel from an app on your phone so that your dog's potty and playtime don't have to be on hold while you're away. And it's got 2 built-in cameras, one on either side of the door, so you can see your dog on either side, and 2-way audio so you can communicate, keeping an eye on your dog at all times and being able to talk to him and get him to go out and come back in.
All right, so that's MyQ for pets. And then prior to that, we heard about some LG kitchen tech. What about the computer space? We've been obviously working and schooling from home for the better part of a year. So what's new there?
Totally. So laptop devices, every year are getting thinner, they're getting lighter, they're getting more secure. This year, the big buzzword is 5G. So first from Lenovo, we've got the ThinkPad X1 Titanium Yoga. It's the thinnest ThinkPad yet. It's got a gorgeous, lightweight titanium design. It's a convertible laptop with multiple use modes, so you can use it as a laptop, you can use it as a tablet, as a tent. It's also built on the Intel Evo platform, so there's lots of power and speed in this little package. Plus, it's got great features like optional 5G or LTE connectivity and a magnetic pen that can be easily accessed for note-taking. This PC is basically perfect to slip in your bag, use at home, anywhere where you're working these days, it's good to go. And then we have the Lenovo Flex 5G, which is the world's first 5G PC. And because of the Qualcomm Snapdragon compute platform that's built inside, you've got the performance and connectivity of 5G, which is up to 10 times faster than 4G, more secure than public Wi-Fi, and more efficient than a mobile hotspot. Plus it's thin, it's light, it's fanless too, so it's silent and cool to the touch when in use, and I can attest to that because it's been running all day, and I cannot hear it at all, which is lovely. And then plus you can get a multi-day battery life from a single charge on this guy. So you never have to search for an outlet, or it's very rare that you would need to. And it has basically clocked in at more than 24 hours of video playback. So you really get a multi-day charge on a single charge with this one.
All right, awesome. So that's Lenovo and the Qualcomm 5G as well, which we no doubt will start seeing more and more embedded in laptops in the near future. And just before we wrap up, Carly, does it look like innovation has gotten stronger or maybe weaker during the pandemic?
Well, I think, invention is the mother of necessity, right? And so I think as all of our lives have changed so drastically, technology companies are going to naturally want to step in and try to solve problems for us. So I think in spite of the limitations of the pandemic, or maybe because of the pandemic, people are always going to find a way to innovate. But, you and I both know that a lot of these, all of these products have been in development for so many years. And so in some ways, they're chugging along on a schedule that was dictated, many, many, many months ago. And so you're going to see a lot of exciting announcements, whether it's virtual or not.
Right. But that being said, I have noticed a lot of touchless tech this year, which is really neat at CES. So no doubt because of the pandemic, everything from, UVC phone sanitization solutions to hands-free faucets. Is there a website, Carly, that you recommend to read up on some of these products you've chatted about and maybe even see them in action? Yeah,
good points. All of those too. And yes, absolutely. For information on all of these great products, you can go to bestofces.com.
All right, bestofces.com. Carly Knobloch, always great chatting with you.
You too. Have a great show.
Thanks. Why just have one tech expert on Tech It Out when you can have two? So coming up after this short break, we're going to catch up with Mario Armstrong. It's actually a two-part interview. We'll chat with him a couple of times this hour about his top picks from last week's Consumer Electronics Show held virtually for the first time in 54 years. We'll be right back. Stick with us.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. This show is powered by ASUS, for those in search of incredible. The company had a very successful consumer electronics show last week with several products unveiled, a lot of award nods, several articles written about their products. So I'll get to that this hour and next week as well. But great stuff from Asus you can expect in 2021 and beyond. This year, CES 2021 looks a lot different because of the pandemic. The show isn't taking place in Las Vegas. Instead, it's all digital. But technology companies are still innovating during this pandemic. And digital lifestyle expert Mario Armstrong is with us for a sneak peek of what's to come. Hey, Mario, how's it going?
It's going great, Mark. Good to hear your voice. Happy New Year to you. And yeah, man, CES is a little bit different for sure.
Yeah.
I partnered up with some few brands and really kind of like, I guess you could say, search the virtual floors to see some exciting things that are happening. How's it been for you?
Yeah, it's, as like you, it's a bit odd being online only. I'm usually standing beside you with, you've got your TV crew
right.
And I've got my TV crew, and we usually chat off camera. Yeah, the show must go on, as they say, even virtually. So there's still, 1,800 plus exhibitors, but just strange that for the first time in 54 years, we're not in Las Vegas to celebrate the upcoming technology, but still some impressive debuts nonetheless. And I know you're going to walk us through some of your faves so far. Why don't we start with what's new in home entertainment?
Yeah, and TVs are always going to be, forever and a day, always big news at CES. Like, that will never go away. And so this year, I've been really impressed with the new LG 2021, their OLED TV lineup. They've announced some incredible TVs. The one that I want to talk about is the G1 TV. Now, this one has incredible picture and sound quality. It's got really this immersive viewing and entertainment experience, and it's part of their art-inspired gallery series. And so the G1 features the upgraded OLED Evo display, which essentially is going to give it a brighter picture. It also features, and this is really key, the Alpha 9 Gen 4 AI processor with advanced technology. That not only helps it create outstanding picture quality, but guess this, it also makes the sound more immersive because it can automatically adjust in real time for the best sound for the content that's on the screen. So depending on what you're watching, the processor is smart enough to be like, oh, this is going to give you a better sound experience for this. Yeah. And the refresh rate is really, really fast on it. So it's going to make it perfect for sports fans or any of the fast action movies or next-gen gamers. Any of that type of stuff is going to look great, no lag. And it's really thin. And they have the LG's wall-mountable design, which helps you really sit it perfectly flat up against the wall, so which is really nice. It looks beautiful in the home.
All right, so that's the next-gen LG OLED televisions, organic light emitting diode-based TVs, really stunning pictures. What about going from a big screen to a smaller one? What do you see in the laptop category that's exciting you?
Yeah, and I don't know about you, man, but I know that we get hit with a lot of questions often, and I'm always asked about what's the right laptop, especially when COVID really hit and people are working from home, kids are from home. And so laptops have always been a big category at CES. And this year I found the Lenovo ThinkPad X12 Detachable. It's one of the most impressive laptop announcements I've seen thus far. This is the Lenovo ThinkPad X12. And to me, it's because it combines, like, when you have like this 2-in-1 kind of compatibility, you get this high-performance laptop with the ThinkPad, which is a great name, strong brand, great product. But then you also get the flexibility of a 12.3-inch detachable tablet, which gives you the flexibility to use it in so many different ways for productivity's sake or for a better viewing experience or entertainment. And one of the things I do love about this is that the screen is protected by Corning's Gorilla Glass, which is great, so you don't have to worry about it getting destroyed. Also, it has a backlit display on the keyboard, and you can use their optional Lenovo Precision pen or the digital pen directly on the display. So if you like to draw, if you have apps that really want you to do that, or it's best for you to use that or to take notes, you can do that easily on this.
All right. So we also had Carly Knobloch on the show today, and she was chatting about the Lenovo X1 Titanium Yoga laptop. So that is a convertible.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So the screen bends back on a 360-degree hinge. So it's also a 2-in-1 or convertible. But you're sharing with us a detachable, which is another way of handling that 2-in-1. So it's a laptop when you want it, and a tablet at other times when you want to use your fingertip to flick through some movies or photos or games or ebooks. So pretty cool stuff there. What about smart home tech? We are spending a lot more time indoors these days. What's new there?
Yeah, and more devices are enabling us to be able to talk to them via voice. But one that's kind of caught me off guard, quite frankly, is my kitchen faucet being able to be one of those things that I can now control by voice. So Moen, M-O-E-N, they're leading the way at CES with smart water products and their new Moen app as well. Now, they've been featuring, and actually this received a CES 2021 Innovations Award, Best of Innovation honoree, and that's for their product called the U by Moen Smart Faucet. It's the only kitchen faucet that's on the commercial market with voice and hands-free activation. And the cool thing about it is it doesn't matter what the handle position is in. You can still use your voice no matter what. You can simply just ask Amazon or Google Assistant to remotely start and stop water flow. You can even do things, Mark, like personalized presets. Like, say you have a baby and you know what the temperature and how much water you want for your baby bottle. You can say baby bottle or things like coffee maker, and it will do the exact fractional measurement and the temperature. You could even say, hey, I would like to have a half a cup of 90-degree water, and it can do that. So it really is smart. It's called the U by Moen Smart Faucet. It's got many fixture styles to fit into, the decor of your kitchen, and it's easy to install. I've had a Moen faucet for a couple of years now. I have the hands-free one, which is the one where you can wave your hand over the sensor, and it's worked like a gem, and I'm really excited about what they've done now with voice.
I actually have this model, the U by Moen smart kitchen faucet.
Oh, I'm jealous.
So you can't use it. Well, it has that sensor that you're talking about where you wave it over the top like you would in a public restroom. You can use your voice if you have a smart speaker, or you can use the handle, but that's like so 20th century, or you can use an app like you said and have a preset. If you know your water bottle takes 8 fluid ounces or whatever, whatever it is, you could just say it and it'll or touch it on the app and it'll give you the exact amount of water at the desired temperature. It's super cool. So that's the U by Moen smart kitchen faucet, and that app, by the way, the Moen app can also be used to manage other smart home tech from Moen, like the Flow by Moen smart water shutoff valve, which you may have in your home to protect, say, from frozen pipes. If someone left the faucet on in the bathroom, it'll automatically warn you on an app, and you can even have it turn itself off, which is pretty cool. So we're going to continue chatting with you, Mario, after this short break. But in the meantime, where can we go for more info on this?
Yeah, if people want to hit me up during this, look, I'm at Mario Armstrong on all things social, or on Instagram is the easiest. But also our website's got a lot of details there. So go to bestofces.com.
Okay. And we will be back with more Mario Armstrong after this short break. Or you can say hi on social media. Let me know what you think of the show, any products or companies you want me to highlight going forward. I'm all ears. Twitter is probably the best way to reach me. I'm at Mark_Saltzman. That's Mark with a C _SALTZMAN. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
This is Tech It Out on the Radio America Network. Thanks for tuning in. We're chatting with digital lifestyle expert Mario Armstrong about some of his favorite items from the Consumer Electronics Show, which took place online this past week instead of in Vegas because of the pandemic. But hey, there's still some cool tech that has debuted, right, Mario?
It sure has. And, I know we just talked about one laptop, but laptops are always happening at the show. Mm-hmm. So I got another one for you, too.
Sure.
This one is the HP Envy 14. And, it's a personal creative studio, in my opinion, because it gives you the freedom to create. It's really designed well with the multi-touch display. The display, by the way, on this, Mark, really blows me away. Obviously, you can get connected from anywhere with this device. One of the things that I really like about the display, too, is that it has an 11% greater viewing area than a traditional laptop. But check this out. You know how we're doing so many video calls these days?
Oh, yeah.
Due to COVID, right? There's a couple things I like about it. Number one, it has HP enhanced lighting. Basically, it optimizes your display and your image for video calls, so I really like that. Number two, my sister always is complaining about this. Like, I want a webcam where I can have a physical shutter. I don't want to put a piece of tape over top of my webcam. And so this actually has a physical shutter for the webcam, which is really nice. It also has a dedicated mute button right on the keyboard. So if you got anything that's going on or, you just want to make sure that you really are on mute, you can hit that. And then it has AI noise removal to help mute those background noises during video calls. So maybe the baby's crying or the dog is barking, and this will help. So I really think it's like a great system for, where we are in terms of virtual, and that's not going to change. We're going to continue to be virtual, obviously.
Oh, for sure. And even if things start slowly going back to some sort of normalcy, I think it's going to be very hybrid. Like, we're going to spend some time maybe at the office, but a lot at home and on the go, coffee shops. So the HP Envy 14, and I know that some other HP laptops that debuted this past week, including one that I talked about on this week's show, also had that privacy shutter, which I like, an actual physical shutter for that extra peace of mind to ensure that laptop camera is not enabled when you don't want it to be. And similarly, you talked about the mute button for audio. I like that. Before the break, Mario, we also talked about smart home tech, another big trend likely due to the pandemic. We're spending a lot more time indoors. I understand you've got something new from Toto that made its debut this week at CES. You've got bathroom tech?
I do. And, what's really great about this is that it really is, when COVID hit, it really kind of, you had the shortages of toilet paper and all that stuff was all going down. But honestly, it really made made me and my family rethink, like, going to the bathroom, quite honestly. It was like because of the toilet paper. And I'm like, I reflected back on some of the speaking engagements that I would do, like, overseas and, like, seeing, like, bidet toilets. And so Toto has announced 2 bidet products, basically. They have the Bidet Seat Washlet C5, which uses pure clean water to make you more clean and more refreshed. I love the heated seat. It's got different temperature settings, comes with a wireless remote. And then they also announced the second one, which is an integrated bidet toilet and with the washlet. It's called the Aquia 4 Cube Washlet Plus C5, which is the toilet bidet toilet with the bowl cleaning technologies that provide what they call clean synergy. And that basically means they also give it a pre-mist spray that goes around it. Basically going from wiping to washing, Mark, is what we're talking about here.
And now you don't have to hoard the toilet paper because you don't need as much with these high-tech bidets. Are they coming out soon, or are they already available?
That's a great question. They're coming out at the end of January, so soon, like very soon, and it's going to be starting right around $1,500.
Okay. So a premium bidet with some high tech to it. Nothing surprises me anymore about the Consumer Electronics Show. We see it all, even virtually, as is the case with this year.
That's right.
And then finally, what are some other trends that you're seeing out of this year's show? I mean, we touched on laptops. We're spending a lot more time on computers for obvious reasons. We're watching more TV, and we are spending more time at home. Those are some of the trends that I've noticed. Any others on your end?
Yeah, I was looking for something that was a little bit different, and I know it's like, the COVID theme might be a little bit tiresome for some people, but honestly, we have to remain safe and be diligent as much as we can. So I was kind of looking at the health and wellness category because I know that's a big area at CES, and I found the Brondell Pro sanitizing air purifier with AG Plus technology. Because I was looking for an air filter. My son and I are really big into understanding the droplets and aerosol and all this stuff. And so we were looking for something that really not only captures the virus, but eliminates it. And this one eliminates 99.9% of the COVID-19 virus within 15 minutes. They've done independent tests on this, and it's really, I think, perfect for families, but also, I think, for small businesses that are trying to remain open, keep their workers safe, keep the space safe. Maybe they don't have the greatest of airway or can open up windows to let fresh air in. So the way this works is that it actually, unlike other purifiers, the Brondell Pro has been independently tested with live aerosolized COVID-19 virus and has been proven to eliminate it. And what makes it different is that it disinfects the air, it breaks down the viruses, and then eliminates them on the filters to prevent secondary infection. And this is important because if you have a filter in your house and maybe you move it to another room, it didn't eliminate it on the filter. It may have just captured it on the filter, so it's holding the virus, but it doesn't eliminate it. So I like that this takes that extra step of safety.
All right. So that's from Brondell, including the Pro model.
Yes.
MarioArmstrong.com has more from Super Mario, as well as bestofces.com to even see these products in action, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can, and there's some video there, right? So we can actually see you with these laptops and devices. Okay. Awesome. Not that I want to see you use the bidet, but everything else is great. I couldn't resist, my friend. Good to chat with you. Hey, I hope that next year, if not before the next CES, I get to see you me in person, but have enjoyed our catch-up this year, virtually at least. All the best.
You too, my friend. It'd be good to see you, man.
We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
So I thought I'd spend a couple of minutes on some highlights for me from the Consumer Electronics Show. I've written about a lot of them for USA Today, but here are a couple of thoughts. I wanted to focus more on the practical side of tech, things that are coming sooner than later, things that can really help you out in life, whether it's for work or play, or for health and safety and cleanliness, which we're going to get to because that's all very top of mind these days. As you can imagine, this year, there was a lot of COVID-related tech. There was a mask that had a built-in microphone and speakers to help people around you hear you better, to get rid of that muffled sound. There was a little sort of silver dollar size wearable sticky thing. It was disposable, but it can detect COVID-19 symptoms and alert you to an app. There was also this product called Clean Phone by a company called Glistener. We're going to actually interview them next weekend on this program. But you drop your smartphone in on the top and then it sanitizes it in 20 seconds using ultraviolet light or UVC. In 20 seconds, it will zap 99.99% of viruses and bacteria from the surface of your phone, both front and back, and even if it has a case on it, and then slowly eject it back out to the top. Very cool. It's designed more for businesses, this particular model. I can see, in the hospitality space, for example, patrons coming in and dropping in their phone and having an instant clean, which is great because as you likely know, your smartphone is very dirty. Dirtier than a toilet seat, in fact. And speaking of hygiene, the latest Philips Sonicare electric toothbrush won a 2021 CES Innovation Awards honoree nod. It's called the Sonicare 9900 or the Prestige model, which is coming this spring. It's the first Philips toothbrush that can automatically adapt to your brushing in real time. So for example, it can lower the intensity of the toothbrush if you're applying too much pressure. That's pretty wild. It's called Sense IQ technology. It's also the first brush with an all-in-one brush head. So I use Philips Sonicare, and you have to change the brush heads depending on the kind of brushing you want. Like there's a teeth whitening head and a plaque removal one and a gum care head. So now it's all-in-one. So that's pretty convenient. And finally, it works with the Sonicare app powered by artificial intelligence to show you where you're brushing and where you're not. If you happen to have your phone or tablet open while you're brushing, it'll show you in real time the parts of your mouth that you're brushing because there are sensors in the toothbrush that are analyzing this information and then wirelessly communicating it back to the phone, and it'll show you if you're missing a spot, that kind of thing. But now, going forward, even if your phone isn't nearby, all that information is retained in the brush head and then will synchronize with the app later on. So that's really wild. So that's called the Sonicare 9900 Prestige, coming soon. And finally, GM's CEO Mary Barra kicked off the show with a keynote about GM's electrified future. They're committing to something like 30 different models that will be electrified by the year 2025, cars and trucks and SUVs across the lineup. But they also want to help other industries, including the delivery and logistics space. So they had a big announcement called BrightDrop, and this is designed to help get parcels to your door faster, quieter, and to be better on the environment. So BrightDrop, if you will, is an ecosystem of products, an integrated ecosystem of vehicles and software and services, beginning with the warehouse all the way to the last mile, as they say, getting it to your front doorstep. It's starting this spring with the EP1. It's an electric pallet that could help bring packages from, say, a truck at the end of your neighborhood to your doorstep. And then later in 2021, the EV600 is an electric vehicle that can go longer, so it has a further range that can help get products to your door. Again, this is all part of their BrightDrop ecosystem, and their first partner is FedEx Express, which is exciting. But hey, we are relying so much on e-commerce, on online shopping. So this is meant to be better for us, better for the workers, keeping them safer, better for the environment. So again, BrightDrop was a big announcement from GM. So as you can see, no shortage of cool tech this week at the 2021 all-digital Consumer Electronics Show. And I will share a few more next week as well, including a Samsung robot that can pick up your dirty laundry off the floor. It could load your dishwasher for you and even pour a glass of wine for you with precision and then roll it over to you somewhere else in the home. Maybe you're reading a book by a fireplace. Boy, I love painting that picture. But imagine a robot bringing you a glass of wine. So this is something called Samsung's Bot Handy that debuted this past week, at least on video. I mean, look, it's a prototype or a conceptual video, but hopefully one day. So that kind of stuff we'll get to next week as well. And I want to thank you so much for tuning into Tech It Out this hour. Hope you've enjoyed it, whether you're listening to it on your local radio station or in podcast form. And if you do like this show, feel free to tell your friends about it, family members, colleagues. You can leave a review at your favorite podcast platform. That is good feedback for me. And again, you can reach out either privately or publicly, say on social media. Privately, I'm at tech@marksaltzman.com. That's TECH@MARCSALTZMAN.com. Or you can find me on social media on platforms like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to ASUS, the title sponsor on Tech It Out. For those in search of incredible, check out asus.com/US/radio for more. All the best, everyone. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.